All right, guys, congratulations on being elected captains of your team. That's what we need you to be out here today, right? Congratulations on making it through the camp. Welcome to your first game. Be some captains today, all right? We're going to have Prairie View calling the coin toss. What are you going to call? You're going to call tail. You're going to mayor flip this thing, all right? What's he going to call? He's going to call tail. The mayor flip. He called tails in his head. TSU wants the ball. Which way you want to do?
Good job, guys.
TSU has won the toss and they get to receive.
Thank you. McKinney speaking just a minute.
All right, can y'all hear me? Great game, especially if you're a fan of football, PV fan. It was back and forth. We took the lead. They came storming back. It's just a great atmosphere, great game. We came out on the short end of the stick. I thought, just looking at the stat sheets, the tale of the game for us was we turned the ball over more than they turned the ball over. So our guys know that you can't win the game turning the ball over. So that's something that we got to get corrected. Defensively, I think we got to do a better job of getting off the field, especially late in the game. I think our defense played really great for about 85% of the game. I think we got tired, and when we needed to make a stop, we couldn't get it. Questions?
Coach, do you think it's more of the purview kind of, they converted a lot of big plays, they kind of took it away from you more than you gave it away?
I think we gave it away with the turnovers. Yeah, if you don't turn the ball over, you score when you get opportunities. I mean, we score on the opening drive. We missed the field goal. We win the game in regulation. So I don't think they took it from us. I think we gifted it. I think I tell my guys all the time, more games are lost than won. And we lost this game.
Coach, as you mentioned in the beginning, your defense played very solid the entire game. Mm-hmm. And at one point, you guys were up 34-17, and then PV scored 20 unanswered points for them to come back and win the game. Do you think that's attributed to the offense being stagnated or more miscommunication on the defensive end?
I think it's a combination of both. We got to have each other's back. But offensively, we lost our rhythm. We turned the ball over when we had, when we were in position for us to score. We turned the ball over, and we lost our rhythm. And when we lost our rhythm, it was hard for us to get it back. But I think, when you get opportunities to score points, you got to score points. And when the defense gets on the field, they got to get off the field. I mean, when you look at the stats, we out gained them. Okay, on 20-something less plays. So we have a really good team. Okay, this is just an unfortunate situation. Our hats off to Prairie View. I told everybody that would listen this week that this is two evenly matched teams. They're a good team. We're a good team. And as a fan of the sport, the people that were here or the people that watched it on TV got a chance to watch two really good teams play a really good game to start the season off. And it's not the end of the world for us. We were in this position before, a year ago. Some things has to happen, And our side of the league is an extremely balanced league. And so week in and week out, you gotta bring your A game.
Coach, what was the message you gave to your team after the game?
Now, what I just told you guys, we're a good team. And, it's all about how we respond for the next one. We're gonna lay down or we're gonna stand up. And the guys that I know that's in that room, they're gonna stand up.
Coach Mike Washington, Dr. Bill's inside the HBCU Sports, 1876 Sports and Culture. If you look at the mix of pass play, it was 40 to 28, I think, pass to run. And you guys played a phenomenal game, as you said it. As you're leaving here, do you look to tweak that balance or look at making changes in the play mix, going to your next opponent? And how do you prepare the guys for that next
We are who we are. Our motto offensively is to take what the defense is giving us. And so if they're shutting down the run and giving us the pass, we're going to do that, and vice versa. So I've been a part of offenses for a long time, and that's always been our motto, and we've always been some of the top offenses in the country. So that won't change. Dr. Cavill.
Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab. In terms of offensive and defensive coordinators, I know you'll go back and actually break down the film, but just coming off the game, how do you feel the game was called from either perspective?
I thought it was called like it should have been called. You know, I think our coordinators did a really good job of preparing our team for this game. We just had some unfortunate situations. You don't coach a guy to throw an interception, and he's beating himself up about it because there were some times he threw the ball away that he probably shouldn't have. And so no one's harder on Andrew than himself, and we'll bounce back.
Follow-up question quickly in regards to last season. I know it's last season, but follow all the way through and literally the last game was the difference in playing for a championship. How much that goes into, no matter what took place here, is to carry the guys through for the next.
Yeah, we don't really talk about, we've never talked about last season because there are a lot of guys that we're counting on this season that weren't here last season. But the guys that were here know that anything's possible. And so we just got to keep fighting. We got to show up week in and week out and get better. And at the end of the day, if we take care of our business, we'll put ourselves in position to represent the SWAC West again.
Thank you, Coach.
After Prairie View's final touchdown towards the end of regulation, what was the conversation about whether you were going to go into overtime or maybe try to drive down the field for a score at the end of the fourth quarter?
Yeah, that's a long way to go in about 35 seconds. So why not go to overtime and make it a short field? Give yourselves an opportunity to put points on the board as opposed to risking a turnover down deep in your territory and having them score points and not even get to overtime. So, yeah, we wanted to get to overtime.
Speaking about Andrew Body's picks, would you say it's more attributed to rust or miscommunication? Because on the second pick, I noticed the wide receiver on the outside was supposed to run a skinny post, but then he kind of came up short, and then Andrew overthrew it. So would you say
it was probably miscommunication? Yeah, I don't know. I have to ask those guys. I'm not asking them what you were thinking in the moment of the game. I'm trying to get on to the next play. So we'll get back to the office and watch the video and see what happened.
Last question.
What did you feel about the performance of your offensive line in this game?
I thought the offensive line was great. They gave up no sacks, and we rushed for 286 yards. That's pretty dang good. We can continue to build on that. I think this offensive line has a chance to be one of the best around.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
I'm introducing my own coach. Okay, let's go. Introducing head coach of Prairie View, McKinney McDowell.
Thank you, T. What's up, everybody?
Hey, Coach.
All right, let's start right away. I feel really good, man. I mean, gosh, you know, as I said earlier in the week, all year long, I mean, we know it's going to be a tight, close game. You know, again, when these two teams play each other, man, you know, you can throw a lot of talent out the window, man. It just comes down to, you know, who wants to win it the baddest. And again, those I said it, the ones that play. The one that played the 4-quarter football, you know, is the team that's going to win. And good thing we did that for 5 quarters anyway, 4.5.
Well, talk about that comeback. How special was that for not only the program, but for you as a coach?
Oh, yeah, big time. Again, not having been in that position before, but like I told the guys at halftime, I was like, look, you know, we gave them 17 points, you know. I mean, and I say gave because we blew a lot of assignments that first half, you know, first quarter, second quarter, that I thought we left out there that we should have had probably at least, we should have been at least 28 points, you know, in that first half. But again, we misread a lot of plays, you know, offensively and defensively. We kind of fell short a little bit just assignment-wise. But again, once we got in halftime and told them that, hey, you guys got to be able to correct those mistakes. And then if we correct those mistakes, we're going to play Prairie View football. And again, I told them all week long, guys, it's 4 quarters of football. You got to hang in there. You know, and they did just that. And they've been playing together all summer long, man. And that's what I'm so proud about them coming together when the time was needed, you know, to help us get a victory.
Question.
Hey, Coach, Mike Washington, inside HBCU Sports Lab, Dr. Cavill, and 1876 Sports and Culture. Your run, you came into the game, obviously you wanted to run.
Yes.
I believe it was 53-33. That was kind of the ratio of run to pass. They seemed able to stop the run at times. At any time, did you say, let's think back, let's take a step back, we want to change this philosophy? Or, you know, did you decide to keep with the run, and will you continue that on into the next game?
No, you guys see my coach Stanley. I got a little teed off, you know, on the headset, you know, asking them, hey, you know, let's throw the ball. These guys are playing off, you know, and we did that. But again, it came down to our quarterback, you know, not reading the keys that he was taught to read. And the good thing about it, he decided he wants to listen and start throwing where he's supposed to throw, and then everything was coming wide open. He was just being a little too anxious to and not being patient and waiting until it comes open. But again, we know what kind of running backs we have when we came into the game plan. We was gonna go 50-50 no matter what, and we was just gonna take what they give us.
Coach, just talk about the dynamics of both quarterbacks this week. You know, everybody's talked it up. And that's what they were looking forward to today. And it pretty much showed itself when it needed to, except for those 3 exceptions by it. But other than that, it was game.
Oh, big time. Yeah, we know what about it about. Again, I told everybody all week long, look, we ain't gonna be able to stop this dude. You know, we're gonna have to contain him. We did a horrible job doing that, you know, in the first half, and a lot of that is just him being an athlete, you know, and we missing tackles. And anytime you get a quarterback of that caliber that can get back there, you know, read it, scan it, and then take off and run, you know, and make something happen, you know, you're gonna have a successful season. And again, it didn't play out for them this tonight, and I'm glad, you know, again, but you know, he's one of the quarterbacks to be reckoned with, and I said that from day one, you know. Trayvon, same way, you know, but again, you just got to be able to reach your keys and make plays happen.
Question.
Coach, you talked in the spring about really preaching about finishing. Finishing was the problem last year. Tonight, 2 minutes to go. What did you see from them that was kind of the culmination of what you'd been preaching all spring?
Again, it was just them, you know, coming together, believing what the coaches was telling them, you know, and we've been doing this all summer long, you know, and, you know, against each other. You know, we go up and down, you know, offense one day, defense the other day, and that's how we've been going all summer long, 50-50, you know, and I told them, you know, we're not going to be able to play 50-50 ball with this team. They're too good to do that, you know. Fortunately, it played out in our favor. You know, we made the plays at the right time when we need to make plays, and that's what I told them at halftime. I said, look, again, we gave them 17 points. You know, we got to go out and execute the way we know how. If we do that, we'll win this game. You know, but again, you got a good team across the way there in Texas Southern, and again, we knew they were going to come in and just let us win. We knew they were going to come out. You know, and got a little scared. You know, everybody said, you were? Absolutely, I was worried. I was absolutely worried, but I also had confidence in our guys, because again, I on the sideline, I brought them up together and said, hey man, somebody has to make a play. With the defense, hey, somebody has to make a play. And they bought in, and we did it at the right time.
Jerry Wood, Jr., the college sports report. Coach, talk about the dynamic of getting to overtime, that last 2 minutes of the game, in an attempt to score or at least run the clock out and get an opportunity to make a decision. You get to overtime, and then you find and then you take a shot.
Yeah, again, overtime, we knew we was going defense first. Again, that corner bounced our way, we was gonna go defense first, and then we stopped them, and that was our goal. You know, going into that overtime, we did just that, and again, we was actually trying to score, but again, we had two misplays at that particular time in overtime. So, you know, again, it kept us in field goal range, and you know, we had to go ahead and kick that field goal and got that victory.
Question.
Coach, you're gonna go against a slew of defenses in the SWAC that are just as strong. How do you get the men past this emotional win and get them ready for that onslaught of talent that you have in the rest of the SWAC?
Again, yeah, we go back, we look at the film, see what we need to correct, you know, and also see what we did right, and then we capitalize on the things that we did good, and things that we did wrong. We got to get better, and I guarantee you we will get better. Because one thing I do know about these guys is they're resilient. You know, when you ask them to do something, they come out and they perform it, and they're going to do it to the best of their ability.
One follow-up, any 2 or 3 takeaways you have? I know it's after the game, but any 2 or 3 takeaways that stick in your mind right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, the one definitely coming in the second half, that interception Travis Pearson made, I think that gave us the momentum going down in that second half. Because again, if they had got that, I mean, I think it's probably been close to being over. It would have made it really tougher for us to come back on a good team like this.
Mr. Hickman.
Yeah. Coach, you've been involved in this Labor Day Classic for a while, and both sides of the ball. Where does this rank as far as exciting games?
Oh, at the top. Absolutely at the top.
Now, you're saying that because you won? Or
Yes, sir. Absolutely. No, it was exciting. Again, you know, as a coach, you know, you hope not to play games this close, but again, God, I have to give my hats off to Coach McKinney and his crew. And crew meeting his coaching staff and the players, they came out and played a great ball game. And again, we knew it was going to be like that. But again, as a coach, head coach anyway, I knew we had the players, you know, and the capability of winning this game. Now, did I think we was going to win by more than what we won by? Absolutely, because I thought we had better players than them. But it didn't happen. You know, again, to go in overtime like that. And once we went in overtime, I'll be honest with you, I knew we had it at that point. You know, because like I said, we was going defense first, and then, you know, stop these guys and at least kick that field goal, kind of what we did.
Question here. Coach McDowell, this is Dr. Kenyatta Bill, Dr. Bill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab 1876 Sports and Culture. Conley, Trayvon does what he does. Ahmad as well. But you had some newcomers that stood up. Caleb Johnson, Brian Jenkins Jr. Talk a little bit about what they had coming in. You give them some framework of what they could bring to the table. But after this game, what are your thoughts?
I mean, we knew what these two young men could do. That's why we went out and got them. You know, like I told Brian, you know, at the end of the game, you know, this is why we went out and got you, because we knew what you can do. You know, again, unfortunately, we didn't get the ball to as much as we wanted, but the plays that he made was big time. Again, a little guy going across the middle and catching the ball, not being afraid. That's the kind of athlete you want. And of course, it ain't a whole lot to say about Caleb. Again, this dude can run. We knew what he was all about. You know, he did it to us at the SIP, you know, twice, you know, in 1 year. So get him aboard, you know, with us was just a big plus. And again, we already had 2 good ones back there anyway. You know, and losing Stewart, number 1. To I think SFA, you know, to bring Caleb in, I mean, it was a blessing.
One follow-up is your special teams in terms of kickoffs, 121 yards, 3 made field goals, big field goals. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Carlos, man, he's stepping up. You know, he did a great job. You know, coming in. We had to take him off the kickoff because he was hurt. The groin was hurting a little bit, but he came in. He's been practicing all off season and getting with a trainer. And he's stepping up to be that big kicker that he wants to be. Now, special teams, we still got a lot of work to do. We was without our actual special team coach, Coach Marlon Watson. He had a baby, so we waiting on him to get on back here next weekend, next Monday, should I say, and get the special team going like we know he can.
Coach, I know it's it's your first win of the season, and you said to me at the press conference that we're a better team than guys predicted us to be. What do you have to say to me?
We are a better team than guys predicted us to be. And we are. And again, and I say that because again, to come up last year that where they rated us, then to bring it back to this year where they rated us where we finished, I think it was a little bit too much, But again, like I told the guys, they just got to be, ready to go. Started the first game, be ready to go for TSU because again, we got to get TSU first, and then we got to get on to the next game, ACU. But they know that they're pretty good, and that's what they've been harping on all summer long. And again, they have stayed the course. Again, preparing, making each other better. So again, that we can go out and beat a good team like TSU today.
Coach, Texas Southern's offense came out from halftime a little hot, but in the fourth quarter you kept them scoreless. What adjustments did you make defensively to really stifle that offense?
Again, we didn't make a whole lot of adjustment, guys. It was just getting those guys to do their responsibilities. Guys were doing things that they were taught not to do. They were just doing their own things, and that's where anytime guys do that, you guys know that breakdowns happen, especially against good teams like that. So we just told them I called them to the sideline a couple of times, like, hey man, everybody needs to do their job. Do their 100. If they do that, we're gonna be okay. And now it was just offense, absolute exact same thing. Let's go out and make plays, and I challenge those guys. Somebody has to make plays, and sure enough, that's what happened.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, congratulations.
Okay.